Hello, everyone. This is Rob Golfi with REMAX, the Golfi team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show with host Stephanie Vivier.
Well, hello, Rob, and welcome to the show. I got to tell you, on my main show, on Niagara in the Morning during the week, you got a little shout out this week. You want to hear about that?
Yeah, tell me about it. I'd like to hear that. Thank you.
All right. So one of our guests came on, and he was talking about the comedy festival coming up. So he's a little bit of a jokester, but anyway, he was talking about the elections, and he said, with all these elections, I didn't know who to vote for, so I just voted for the guy with the most signs. So I voted for Rob Golfi.
You're not going to believe this. So on my main office building, I put down a banner, and it said it had a box with a check mark. It says, "Vote for Golfi to get your home sold fast." so a lot of people saw that when they were driving by. So it was, I put that up for about 5-6 days. I think it was about a week, yeah. And then this was during the week of the elections, and that were happening. I think the elections, was it Tuesday? Was it Monday, Tuesday of that week? And then I had it running. I can't remember. I had it running for about a week. It was up there. Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I like it. I wonder if anyone did write your name in on the ballots. We'd have to check into that, I guess.
You know what? Somebody one time at one election, they said some people have written my name down. They'd actually write it. They didn't even vote. Like, they just basically went there, put my name down and left. And so that it doesn't count as a vote for anything. So it gets scratched off. They just showed up. They put their name down. It showed they showed up to vote, but really their vote doesn't count for anything. So, but yeah, sometimes I get comments on that, and sometimes during elections I'll do some what do you call it? Things online about voting for me instead of anybody else to get your home sold.
I love it. That's very smart. Very smart. We had a lot. We've had quite a few elections this year, right? Provincial and federal. Yeah. We had a by-election here in St. Catharines. So what a good way to do it. Obviously that name recognition is out there. People know about Rob Golfi. They know about the team. Let's get into it a little bit, Rob, shall we? Let's talk about real estate. What's been happening in your real estate life this week?
Yeah. So there's been a lot of things that have been happening. So there was one property that we were invited to see and, give an evaluation on. So one of my agents says, Rob, you got to come with me on this property. They've had this house listed before, and this house was listed for $2,299,900. So let's say $2.3 million, which was way ridiculous. And so anyway, they had it. I'm not sure for how long, but they ended up dropping the price, and they dropped the price down to $1,550,000. So now it's expired. So they call us, and I'm like, I do my research on it, and it's somewhere between, the value of this thing is somewhere between 1.1 million to 1.2 million. And so I know that when I'm going into it. And so the first thing I ask, to these people, I say, hey, how did you come up with the price? And it's a combination. He's kind of hum and hawing. I guess it's between him and the agent. And I go, you guys did a pretty big price drop. And he goes, yeah. And I said to him, did you get any offers? And well, first I said, how many showings did you get? He said I had about 8. I think it was 5 showings. He had 5 showings. And I said, did you get any offers? He goes, we got 1 offer. And I said, how much was it? He goes, 1.1 million. And I said, so as I'm talking, I said, I probably would list your house at 1.2 million. I said, I understand that you don't want to hear that. And I understand that you may, ask me to leave, and you think it's ridiculous. You may want to go with the guy that's going to give you, unrealistic number. Mm-hmm. So, and I said to him, I go, your house is worth between that. And I said, with that $1.1 million offer that you got, and then you were listed at $1,550,000, chances are, if I was your agent at that time, I would have, been very adamant and say, listen, this is an offer that we got to work with. And we probably could have bumped that guy up to 1.2. You know what I mean? To 1.2 million, right? Because he's,
Yeah.
or even higher, a little higher than that. That is the value of your house. I said 1.2 million, and just seeing what the house had, where it's located, just everything, and I showed him two comparables of homes that very similar, like size, property wise, country, and this and that. The highest they should list is at 1.2 currently. And he said, well, I had two appraisals. And I said, right, one appraisal was during 2022 at the beginning, and another one in 2023, because he said he had one at 1.4. So that appraisal was either 2021 or 22. And then he had another one at 1.3. And I said that one was in 2023 in the first half. I go, the market in the first half of 2023 is better than it is today. And they're listening, and they're going, like, I go, appraisers call me to find out prices sometimes. I said, because they have a hard time sometimes gauging. And, because I do a lot of volume of business, I have a good sense of what a willing buyer is willing to pay for the house. And will I get that listing? Chances not. I think they have an unrealistic number in their head. And but that's what happens. See, that guy had a good offer that he could have worked with, and he should have negotiated with that offer, and he would have been sold. And so a lot of people go through that, and so they go with with the agent that gives them this big number, and then they actually sometimes they do get an offer. Somebody takes a run at it and says, here, and they look at it and say, well, there's a big difference from the asking price and the offer price. And meanwhile, that offer price they're in line of what the value is. And then they throw that out. And sometimes you never get that offer again. Now you're reducing. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my, you're wondering what the heck happened, that you just lost out. So it happens all the time. It happens. A lot of agents out there, and I tell them, I go, listen, I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not going to say I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be straight with you. I says, I'm not doing my job if I'm giving you unrealistic numbers. I'm willing to work with you at your number to see what the market will do, but you should do a change in price within a reasonable amount of time so that we could see what the market will do. So sometimes you list a house and you get like 20 showings in the first week. That's good. So that means you're close to the number, but you're still off, because nobody's willing to make an offer. So you should make that change fast at that time in the first 2 weeks. If you're getting,
really that quickly, you should adjust.
You should adjust if you're getting that many showings. That means that's telling you the market is saying, hey, listen, the value is close, but you're not on it. Nobody wants to make an offer on it. And we're in a society now that we have so much information, especially online, that they know what values are. The buyer knows the value better than the realtor, knows it better than the seller, knows, because he's the one with the money, and he's the one that's looking at the other houses alongside the one that you have for sale. And they gauge it. They know it. Like they're, and so you should, it just depends. But now if you get very little showings, you let it sit on the market, see how it goes, and you do a change within 30 days. It just depends. You have to, you got to work that listing, and there's different times, right? You get 20 showings, you got 20 buyers that that can afford that house, because they wouldn't be looking at it unless they could, and they like the area, but for some reason they didn't feel the value was there. That's why nobody put an offer in. So you have to react fast, because your best buyers do come in the first 2 weeks. Excuse me, of your home being for sale. So that was that story. But there's another story. There's a guy from Toronto. He buys a house just off of Pelham Road, and not a great area, right? It's not a great area, and he buys this house for $245,000. Great deal. Right?
Yeah.
And he bought it in June. It closed on it in August of last year, 2024. So it's a little kind of wartime house, no basement, pretty decent. This guy guts this place, right? He's from Toronto, guts this place. and he starts putting high-end stuff in this place. High-end doors, high-end appliances, and I'm walking in and I'm going, I go, do you know the area that you bought in? I go, like, do you understand the area? And he's like, yeah. He goes, this is the best house in St. Catharines. Goes, this is the best. Nobody's got this. I'm going, yeah, you've got the right house, but I'd rather be in Port Dalhousie than where you are here. You know what I'm saying? And he just spent too much money. He spent like I don't know, like a couple $1,000s just on the doors. And like,
Oh, wow.
I mean, they're like German doors. Like when you lock it, it's got a lock, above, in the middle, and at the bottom. Like it just, and the appliances and just all high end. And I just couldn't understand. I go, like, were you planning on moving in here yourself? He goes, no, I planned on flipping it. And I go, well, you did a good job, but you did it in the wrong area. And I said to him, look, here's a house in Port Dalhousie, wartime house, doesn't have a basement, and it's selling for about $5.25, $5.50. And you're asking $5.25, $5.50, but your house is in better shape and a little bit bigger. But the buyer is going to be more prone to go to Port Dalhousie to buy that one versus yours because of the better location. And the one in Port Dalhousie, the only reason they probably may not sell because it only has 2 bedrooms, you have 3. And so anyway, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I know. It was a mistake. I made a mistake. I don't know what I was thinking of. He put all these expensive appliances. He's just keep going. Like he's just going through this. And I mean, it's a great buy if somebody wants to live in that area. I mean, they're not going to find a brand new house. Like it's an old house, totally renovated. And yeah, like it's just like when he first called for me to take a look at it, I looked at the old listing and it's like, wow, this looks like a shack. But he did a nice job. But be careful when you are renovating to flip houses. I mean, I'm not saying to go cheap where it's going to fall apart, but you got to watch your budget. So he will lose money on this. He's going to lose money.
Oh, wow.
He told me, he said he's going to lose money. He wants to move it fast. He's accepting that he's going to lose a lot of money on this and just go forward. But be careful. Like maybe, I don't know, like I think he's kind of a newer investor, and he's an older guy. He's probably, a guy in his late 40s. So it's not like he's young kid. I mean, I did tell one kid one time many years ago, in Grimsby, on the lake there, near the lake, there's those old cottages that are, and there was one. It was lifted up on stilts pretty well, and he was going to buy this thing, and I said, don't buy it. I go, you're too young to have this big headache. Don't buy it. I go, this will set you back 10 years of your life. And so he didn't buy it. And so another guy came, and he was in his probably 40s or 50s. I said, you sure you know what you're doing here? Yeah, no problem. He bought it. He's told me after renovating it, he goes, it was a big mistake for him buying it. Yeah, I'm telling you, you got to be careful. And I'll tell you, if you're a young guy, if you're a young kid, or if you're a parent and you have young kids looking at buying, make sure you get an experienced realtor, because they'll know. I know if it's the right one, because I bought houses in my 20s. I bought houses in my 30s, 40s, 50s. And I'll tell you, when you're in your 20s, a big headache could take you back. And I'll never forget the one house I bought. It was 2 semis, and it was half gutted. And I was 20 years old, and I bring my dad through, and he's usually pretty confident. He's always, does what I say. Like, I mean, like he's lets me do what I want to do. And, he doesn't, say anything negative. So I took him through this property. It was on Pearl Street. And he goes, are you sure you know what you're doing? And I never heard him say that. He gave me such a doubt. I'm going, oh my God. So anyway, after that, I sold it. Like I bought it and sold it. And I lost probably about $5,000 between all the expenses of buying and selling. It could be a little more, but I was 20 years old, and that scared me when he said, "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" And That was it. I sold it and I got out of that one real good. Thank God the market was good enough that somebody bought it quick.
Yeah, that you could sell it. And yeah, it sounds like your dad really saved the places to use that. So it had that impact on you. So a real cautionary tale there.
Yes, yes.
You're listening to the Golfi Real Estate Show here on News Talk 610 CKTV. Rob Golfi is with us. Stick around. We'll be back right after this.
I know the importance of hiring the best agents.
I'll take a photo of your house and post it on the World Wide Web.
Next,
Our multi-million-dollar marketing system reaches tens of thousands of potential home buyers every day.
go to robgolfi.com and put the best team to work for you.
And welcome back to the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier. Rob Golfi is with us today. Rob kicked us off with some great real life examples of homes that are on the market right now. What's happening in the market today is really what we specialize talking here on the Golfi Real Estate Show. All right, so let's talk about pricing, and we did a little bit in the first half there in terms of that big pricing and how it can hurt the seller. And Rob, I think the one example you gave us was a seller who had some appraisals from 2022, from 2023. How hard is it right now to reframe people's mind from those peak times of housing?
It's still there. People are still locked into that 2021 and 20 and in the first half of 2022. And we're in 2025. So we're talking 2.5 years now, 3 years ago. And people are still, time flies by. And when they talk about, their neighbor got something, I go, yes, they got that at that year. And they don't realize how much time has gone by. But overpricing a house hurts you. You know how I said before that we do a price adjustment if we get a radical amount of people going through the house and no offers in the first week or 2 weeks, and we adjust it because the hot listing's still hot, and that's it. Negative impacts of overpricing a home, you miss the crucial first impression window, and that's important. Like that first impression. So there's people out there right now, they're looking for houses in a certain price range. And what happens is when they're looking, they're waiting for the new house to come up on the market. So when the new house comes up on the market, they right away will either look at that or bypass it. So when they look at that, boom, you got all that crowd. You got that buyer pool there that's looking in that price range, and they look at it. And if none of them buy it or put an offer in, then then guess what? We lose them. And then if you keep the price at that price, the listing becomes stagnant, and people get like, hey, why isn't that house selling? You know what I mean? Like people, because people are watching it. I'm telling you, they're like the buyers, they're watching it. And now, but and then when you do a price reduction, a lot of people, realtors know when you do a price reduction or a price adjustment, they know that the right price is adjusted to the market. But people think it differently. They go, oh, there must be something wrong with it. That's why they reduced it. It's not the case. That's not the case. It's just that they overpriced it for the condition, the location, and the time. So sometimes it gets discouraging on showings on that. So you don't want to kill the momentum. You don't want to kill that. And it leads to low ball offers. Now look at that one case I was telling you. They put a low ball offer on a $1,550,000 home, but it was in the right range of value, and they let it go. They let it go. So you got to be careful. And I'll tell you, here's one thing. So when we go into a house, we give them an idea on value. Now every agent's different. There's so many real estate agents out there. I give the value based on what a willing buyer is willing to pay at that time. And I show them comparables. Here's what's going on. But sometimes the seller will not take that information. So I had one seller one time, he wanted close to 1,750,000. I said, you know what, you're in the 1.5 range. And he goes, what? He goes, Rob, but look at all these other houses. I go, you're in the 1.5 range. And so anyway, we ended up listing at 1,650,000. So it's been on the market. Now we're looking at it, and we're not sure if we want to continue with this listing anymore, just because if he's strong on his price, we've tried it. If I can't sell at that price, I know another agent won't be able to, because we exhausted every resource that we have to sell that. And with my marketing, with the magazine and everything that we put it's just not feasible. The market's not taking that price. So here's the really funny comment. This guy's a very strong personality, right? And he goes to me, he goes, Rob, why didn't you push me harder to go lower on the price? I go, are you kidding me? I go, I did. I told you got to be in the 1.5 range, like 1.55, 1.59, and like 1,550,000 or 1,500,000, you know, 50, whatever. And he goes, well, you should have pushed me harder. And I'm saying, you got to be kidding me. See, I can't win. I cannot win. This guy's a very strong, and I'm pretty. And I told him, and he didn't want to believe it. See how they turn the cards on you.
Yeah.
See how they turn.
Memory's very flexible.
Yeah. So he does remember me saying, you know, listing it at 1,599,000. No, was it 1,550,000, I'm getting confused, but anyway, just under 1.6, right? I said you have to be under 1.6, but maybe more closer to 1,550,000. So anyway, now we're sitting, and I'm telling him, now you have to be at 1.5, and he's going, we can't do that. I go, the market was better when we first listed this thing. Now we're chasing the market, and so he's thinking about it, and you know, it's tough. It's tough. You know, the one thing you won't do in this real estate market, in any real estate market, is you will never underlist. If you have the right strategy, even if it is underlisted, you still can create competition. So, you know, there's certain days we list on, certain, you know, timing, certain things we do. And let's say we ended up underlisting a house. We'll end up getting competition, and it'll get the right value, right? But if you overlist a house and you keep dropping, you end up, you lost all those good buyers that were there ready to buy, like ready and looking at the time that the house was first listed. So the one thing is, you know, my thing is, you know, if you list close to the asking price, I'm always willing to list with what my clients want to list, as long as they understand where I see the value. But as you drop the price and the time goes on in your house, it's tougher to negotiate, because you know, you got days on market, and the people, you know, somebody goes to us, hey, Rob, listen, you've got a house that's been on the market for almost 4 months. I mean, like, who's holding the cards here? You know what I mean? Like, so you got to be careful on that. And so it's always good to list close to the asking price. If you go above, try to do the adjustment quickly, so that you're not chasing the market, and you end up getting low offers, and you end up probably losing money on it. I had one lady one time, her husband was being Mr. Smart Guy. You know, he was a sales guy, and he was trying to dictate to me what to do, how to do this, how to negotiate. Do you know it cost them $25,000? And
wow.
He realized that he screwed up. And his wife said, see that's my big shot husband, you know, acting like he's a Mr. Know-it-all. and he goes, Rob, he should have let you do your job, because otherwise it just cost us $25,000 because of my husband thinking that he was smarter than you, and in the real estate negotiations. And I told him, I go, listen, I'll do what you want to do, but I'm telling you, this is the wrong path you're taking. And they cost them. I'll never forget it. The wife loved it. She was she was glowing to show him, you're wrong. And I was there. You know, I didn't you know, say I told you so. I just kind of like I kind of tapped my hand on my back of my shoulder after I got out of the house and said, you know, that's it. So, but yeah, like, you got to be careful. Be careful. And like there's another one in Niagara Lake I went on. 2 agents came in around 1.5 to 1.55, and another agent came in at 1.8. And the homeowner knew, that agent that came in at 1.8, he knew that was ridiculous, and he knew that was wrong. And yeah, it's just like, what do you do? Like sometimes you give a number to an agent gives a number to the homeowner, and this homeowner has bought and sold a lot of houses in the past, so he knows the game. And all of a sudden, some guy gives him a high number. He's like, "Oh, I know what he's doing. He's trying me to like him because I got a high price." And then once an agent locks you in, he's going to beat you up on the price for the next, who knows, 2 months, 3 months to lower it. And I always give the outcome. Say, here's what we're going to do. Here's where I think you should be. And everything's on the table, so there's no surprises. And that's how I operate.
Yeah. Start with the end in mind. We want to get this thing sold.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. New homes is something we got to get those built. We've heard a lot about that with those elections we were talking about earlier. And there is a builder here in St. Catharines who has a creative way for buyers to get into the market. It's similar to rent to own, Rob, but it's actually much better. Tell us how this works.
So this builder must have a lot of money, so for him to do this. So it's the first of its kind of home ownership program in Niagara, helping people struggling to get in the housing market. Now, what it is the program is tailored to people struggling to save for a down payment. Well, I mean, some people have it, some people don't. Now, this site on Vine Street, so we're giving a plug here, on Vine Street in St. Catharines has 83 units, and of which 10 are part of this program. Now, upon signing an agreement, buyers move in and pay $3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom, 3-story townhouse over a 2-year period. This adds up to $69,000 towards a down payment on the unit, minus a $3,000 administrative setup fee. Now, this is not a rent to own. This is a payment plan, and you get your money back. And so, when you close on, to close on the deal. Now, I like the program. Now, people can buy now, live in their new home, and close in 2 years. They pay structured monthly payments and at the end, the accumulated payments go directly to their down payment. Now, it is a great program. I mean, but here's what I think it is, and I could be wrong. A lot of people will buy something if they didn't have to pay more for something than if they didn't have to buy it. So let's say he's probably putting a premium on this of maybe $50,000 more than what the housing market will go for now. And he's going to get that. So he's basically saying, I'm going to hold on to these houses, 10 houses for 2 years, right? So he's going to carry it for 2 years. And then he's going to give, so in each household, there's a $3,000 administrative fee. So, they forfeit the $3,000 administrative fee, which is nothing. That's pretty fair. And these people will have home ownership in 2 years. And they'll get their down payment back. Not a bad deal. There's probably a lineup of people that are wanting that. You're probably paying a little higher for the price of the home because he has to put value of how much it's going to carry, right? And but I think it's a great concept. I think everybody should. I don't know if he's getting help from the government to carry it, but I think it's a good program. And I don't know where he got this from, if he's getting any help from the government to do this program. But you're going to see this thing start catching on. This is a great program. And even though you're going to pay a little more, I think, for the house, I could be wrong. I haven't seen what the values of the houses are. I haven't looked into it, but I think it's a great program. And in 2 years, the house is going to be worth a lot more than what the registered price that you're paying today, especially where the market is right now. We're flatline, so this is a good opportunity. If this guy releases another 10 on top of that, go for it. I think it's a great deal, and I think every builder that can afford to do this and hold inventory, and do this, they'll sell a lot of homes. Because there's a lot of people out there, it's hard saving money. But if you're paying $3,000 a month and it's like a piggy bank for you, and you get to live there in a brand new house, great. But guess what? I'm sure there's a stipulation in the contract that if you can't close in 2 years, you lose that money. I'm sure of it. There's got to be something like that because he can't continuously carry you, right? He can't continuously do that, and then he may have to, you just keep paying the $3,000 a month as rent, and you don't own a house. But a really good deal, This is happening in St. Catharines. And the name of it's 292 Vine Street, St. Catharines. This guy deserves a little bit of a plug on that. And I don't know the guy, never met him, but I think it's worth even just going check out the other townhouses that he's got there. So good for him.
Yeah, 83 units in total. 10 of those are part of this agreement. It's Legacy on Vine. That's the name of the development, and it is a Bevco home. So go ahead and check out their website. It can't hurt to ask some questions and find out a little bit more. We find out lots with the Golfi Real Estate Show every week here on News Talk 610 CKTB. Rob Golfi is with us, and he's sticking around. We'll be back after this here on News Talk 610 CKTB.
Are you worried about selling your home on time and for the most money? Hi, I'm Rob Golfi. Every year we invest millions of dollars in our advanced marketing system, ensuring your home is seen by tens of thousands of potential buyers. We don't just hope it sells, we make it sell.
And welcome back to the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier. Rob Golfi is with us today, getting into all things real estate. Don't forget, you can call the #1 real estate team in Canada, the Golfi team, at 905-641-0308. All right, Rob, let's go back in time a little bit to 70s era government housing. And there's been a bit of a rebirth in this idea, the government getting involved in building housing. The question, though, is this really going to help the housing crisis that we have here? So take us back. How was the government involved in housing prior to, I think it ended in the 80s?
So from between 1974 and 1981, the MERB program, which is multiple unit rental building, MERB, a program facilitated the creation of nearly 200,000 rental units by allowing investors to offset their personal taxes through deductions related to depreciations and other apartment costs. While the program was discontinued in 1981 due to criticisms of inefficiency and favoring affluent investors, the current Liberal government is considering to reintroduction to the address Canada's ongoing housing crisis. So you're not going to believe this. When I was 20 years old, they must have stopped it in Ontario in 1981 because when I flew to British Columbia and I bought a condo, and it was a multiple unit rental unit. It was a MERB.
No way.
It was a MERB. I couldn't believe it when I saw this. Like, oh my God. A lot of people don't know what a MERB, I bought a MERB. I owned one. So what happened was, way back in the late 80s, like 89, 88, the Ontario was in a recession and BC wasn't. And so if you own properties in British Columbia, they were going up in price, and meanwhile in Ontario they were going down. So I flew out there and I bought a MERB. I went to the CIBC Bank at the corner of Main Street and Ferry in Niagara Falls. I borrowed $16,000 for the down payment from the CIBC, and I told them what I was doing. I told them what I was buying, and they gave it to me, and it was like, and it was crazy, and so I flew out there, bought it, and the people out there, when I went out there to buy it, they couldn't believe I did that because I was so young, right? And but the tax incentives were incredible. Like the tax incentives were, like it was appealing for investors, right? I mean, I was just learning about it back then, and you get all these tax benefits from it, and that's why people end up buying. Investors are buying because you get all these tax benefits out of it. So they stopped it because it was too good. And so they ended up stopping it, but now they need to bring it back to create more housing, so to get more investors buying into the market. But so how
does it work? The government builds these houses, and then they're then at a lower cost, and we're buying from them, or how does that program actually work?
No, they just I think they apply for a designation on the property to be a MERB. And what happens is they get all these tax benefits. Like they save tens and tens of thousands of dollars building these MERBs. So if they build a small, like let's say 6-unit building, 4-unit building, It could be an apartment building. The tax benefits, it's so much cheaper for them to build of the tax benefits because all the tax benefits they're going to get back. It's worth doing. It is. And so they need to do something to create more housing, and it looks like they're looking at bringing this back. Like you could tell they're sitting at the boardroom table, the government is trying to figure out how do we get housing starting again? And because it's not really picking up, and they're not going to hit their goal when it comes to like their 10-year goal or 5-year goal. So, but they figured with the MERB tax benefit, you're going to find a lot of people jumping in. They'll even build. They'll build like you find an empty lot, you build a fourplex there, perfect. Or you tear down a house, you build a bunch of fourplexes there. People are going to jump in, and it becomes very advantageous for the investor. And they'll bring it in, and everybody's jumping in, everybody's doing well with it. They're going to take it away, and that's what usually the government does. But it is a good program to start creating, get builders and investors to start building houses and to create more housing for people.
Yeah. Those are rental spaces that are very difficult to find, and hopefully they would be affordable as well. So an interesting look, and we do have to start getting creative on this whole crisis. All right, let's talk about when you make that deal. Let's say you find the right property, you're working with the Golfi team, you put in the offer. Why should you always initial all the pages of the real estate offer? And for anyone who hasn't done this before, Rob, there's quite a few pages, isn't there?
There's always quite a few pages, but you should do this on any agreement. And we do that on employment contracts. I do that on lease agreements, so that there is no I didn't see that page. Well, you initialed that page. You know what I mean? So that it just confirms that you've reviewed every page. So initials show that you and other parties have read and agreed to the content on each individual page, not just the final terms. And it prevents tampering or changes. If every page is initialed, it's much harder for someone to add later or remove or alter a page without it being obvious. Ensure legal protection. In case of dispute, initialed pages help prove the version of the contract you agreed to, the complete authentic of it. Now, signal full agreement. Now, even if the main signature is on the last page, initialing each page shows you're acknowledging and agreeing to each term throughout. Standard best practice, it's considered a professional and protective industry standard. Agents, lawyers, and courts expect to see it. So I use it on everything. So even if I'm doing something not even real estate related and there's an agreement, I say initial every page. And sometimes there could be a clause in there. It could be anything. I say, can you initial beside there? And because sometimes people, they say, well, I didn't see that. Well, you initialed beside it. Like your initial's right there. You must have read it if you initialed it, right? So it's always good if you're having somebody sign anything, if it's 2 pages, have how the signature's on the second page or the third page and the first 2 pages there isn't. Have them initial every single page on no matter what the document is. Because there's so many, there's always so many ways to get out of a contract. And I just had one recently. This just happened 2 weeks ago. There was a contract, nothing to do with the real estate contract, but I had the guy initial every page plus initial beside this one clause that I put in, and he initialed it, and basically it's bulletproof contract. If I go to court with it, the judge is going to say, well, you read it, right? Yeah, you initialed right beside that specific clause, which is important. What don't we understand? And they can't fight it. They can't. It just makes things easier. Now, without the initials or signature, it'll hurt you. So in real estate, anytime there's a change, you initial beside there, and at the bottom of the page, there's your initial there. And the reason why they do it at the bottom of the page, because it looks like you read through it and then you initialed at the bottom of the page. And but always, no matter what you're doing, always initial. Now, here's another thing that people should learn, and I learned this. I've been through it. If you pay somebody cash, obviously there's no paperwork, right? Have them send you a text. Say, hey, received X amount of dollars. Doesn't have to say about anything. So then if the guy ends up, a month later forgetting that he received that money, he may come back to you and say, hey, I don't remember you giving it to me. Who knows? Something could have happened, right? So you should always get a text message. Say, hey, received. So if he ever comes back to you and say, listen, I got a text message right here that says you received it. So where do we have our problem? And I did have a problem one time. A guy calls me up 2 years later, and he says, oh, and I'm like, what the heck? Like why didn't you? He goes, oh, COVID hit, and I, this and that, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, you know what? I gave the $400, but now I learned a lesson from there. If I pay anybody cash, I go, send me a text message saying you received it. That's it. Just the amount and received. And that's it. So if you ever come back to me 2 years later, I can say, well, I got it right here. It says you received it, and there's no headaches. So so that's with cash, right? Like a lot of people do cash jobs. Be careful. I'm telling you, those cash jobs, like somebody gets hit on the head going home and can't remember. And a lot of times when I give somebody money and I give it to them like in an envelope, I'll stand in front of him right there and say, count it. He goes, no, I trust you. No, I want you to count it. I want you to count it because I don't want you going home and all of a sudden you forgot you spent $100 or $200, and then you're saying, and then you're telling me I owe you another couple $100. Count it. And I always have a witness too. I say, hey, remember I gave this guy the money, like I've been through so many situations in my life, especially when it comes to cash, just always have a witness that that remembers that you gave the money. Have them send you a text that you've received the money, the amount, and just received, and you're good. But also have initials on important clauses, even if it's not to deal with real estate. It can be anything. It could be fixing something, or especially if they fix something and you need it to show somebody else, have them initial that they say everything's fixed, everything's working in working order. Boom. So there's no headaches after. There's no headaches. We had a guy that had to fix an awning, and we just said, hey, listen, can you make this thing work and make sure it's fixed and everything? Yeah, no problem. He sends us a form that says everything's in working order. You're good to go, right? So it was paid for. Mm-hmm. So the people move in. A couple weeks later, they say, hey, this thing's not working. So the guy goes back. And so the new owners call him, and he says, oh, this is, I don't know what happened. I don't know what kind of conspiracy they had between the buyer of this house. And so now they're trying to say, hey, we need a new awning. And this guy that gave us that form, the paper saying everything's in good working order, kind of screwed up because now he's trying to sell them an awning.
Right.
He's trying to make a sale with a new buyer saying, yeah, you need a new awning. And then now they're trying to come after us saying, hey, you guys got to buy us a new awning. And we're saying, no, your guy that's trying to sell you an awning said everything is in working order and everything's good. So there was
trying to get it at both ends. You got the money for fixing it. Anyone wants to get the new sale as well.
Yeah. See, that protected my seller. That protected me. And so if we didn't have him saying that the awning's in good working order, like if he goes to court, they're going to go to him. Well, you said it was in good working order, so if you still want, what I mean, like you may lose the sale on the awning because they don't trust you anymore. So you know what I mean. So, but you gotta always have something in writing by text or paper, initials. I'm telling you, it'll save you, especially paying cash. That's, always get a text message saying received, boom, that's it. And you're covered. And if even if you don't have the guy's number in your phone, and he wants to take it, say, hey, listen, what's your number? Because right there it says you sent me a text message saying you received the money. So sorry, you can't get any more money out of me. So it's
a good one. That's smart. I'm always going back to my e-transfers because you do different things with family. You got to send them money and stuff. And it's like, did I pay them? Did I? And so that's a good record there. But to have it by text, always some great advice. Well, Rob, I always appreciate speaking with you. Thanks for taking some time to join us today.
Thank you so much. It was great.
And this has been the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier. If you'd like to take advantage of the expertise and knowledge of the #1 real estate team in Canada, the Golfi team, give them a call, 905-641-0308, online at robgolfi.com. That's GOLFI.com. Have a great day.